JBN, we keep you informed. Former police inspector accused of wife's murder released on bond. Padding Manning, 62, who is accused of killing his wife, has been released on bond. Manning, a former inspector of police, was offered bail in the sum of $500,000 when he appeared before the St. Catherine Parish Court on Friday. He was charged 2 weeks ago by detectives attached to the Greater Portmore Police Station with the murder of 65-year-old Pamela Manning. It is alleged that he used a knife to stab his wife in the neck at their home in Cumberland, Portmore on August 14. Alleged thief stoned to death by residents. An unidentified man who residents of Rosemont Gardens in Montego Bay, St. James, say is behind a series of house break-ins and around their community was mobbed and stoned to death during an alleged robbery attempt on the weekend. So far, the Freeport police have confirmed the mob killing, indicating that the victim still remains unidentified. He is of dark complexion and slim build, is about 5 feet 10 inches tall, and was clad in blue underpants. Reports by the police are that about 8:30 p.m., a sales representative who resides in Rosemont Gardens went home and discovered that a section of her bedroom window had been broken. She then heard strange sounds coming from underneath her bed, and upon investigating, she saw a man with a hatchet in his hand. The woman shouted for help, and immediately a large crowd of angry residents stormed the premises. The unidentified man was dragged from under the bed and taken outside, where he was stabbed and stoned to death. The police were summoned, and upon their arrival, they found the unidentified man lying in a pool of blood with stab wounds to his body and large stones beside his head. Investigators say that they had received several reports of break-ins in the community, but could not confirm if the deceased was the culprit. However, they said that they recovered from him a number of items that had been stolen from the woman's house. Security forces raided Black Rose's Corner. Members of the security forces detained a number of men in an operation Tuesday morning along Lincoln Avenue in Arnett Gardens, St. Andrew. The operation was centered mainly around a section of the area popularly known as Black Rose's Corner. Police and soldiers were observed combing each yard about midday, while female residents were heard pleading with the soldiers and police to release some of the men who the women said had to go to work. The detained men, numbering more than 10, were put into a large Jamaica Defense Force truck as the females hustled to provide them with water and other liquids before they were carted away. A policeman on the scene said that they were only carrying out regular duties in the area. He said he was not authorized to give an official statement, and officers who could were not present. Black Rose's Corner was a hangout spot for members of the famed Black Rose's crew, which was led by community don Willie Aggart Moore, and included dancers Gerald Bogle Levy and David Alexander Smith, popularly known as Ice. Moore, Levy, and Smith were shot and killed in 2001, 2005, and 2008 respectively. We cannot sacrifice PMP for one man's ambition. Campaign manager for Peter Bunting's Rise United team, Dr. Dayton Campbell, is urging supporters of the People's National Party PMP not to sacrifice the party for one man's ambition. Bunting, the Manchester Central Member of Parliament, is challenging Dr. Peter Phillips for the leadership of the party. Delegates will decide who should be at the head of the 81-year-old party on September 7 at a special delegates conference in Kingston. Dr. Campbell, who was addressing a St. James Central constituency conference at the Mount Salem Primary and Junior High School on Sunday, told the gathering that the party has had a history in which numerous past presidents have retired at the age of 70. Dr. Phillips, who unsuccessfully challenged Portia Simpson Miller for president of the party in 2006 and 2008, will turn 70 on December 28. He was elected president of the party in 2017, succeeding Simpson Miller, following the February 2016 general election, which the PMP lost to the Andrew Holness-led Jamaica Labour Party, JLP. When you look at the state of the country, when you're going to decide on a leader of a party and possibly the leader of a country, is a big decision that. The PMP has a tradition. Norman Manley left the party when he was 70. Michael Manley as Prime Minister left the party when he was 70. P.J. Patterson as Prime Minister left the party when he was 70. Portia Simpson Miller left the party when she was 70. This year, Dr. Phillips is 70, disclosed Dr. Campbell. I don't understand what really is going on, because the convention in the party is that the leader of the movement should step aside and make way for a new leader to come forward. We cannot sacrifice the party for one man's ambition, he said. Dr. Campbell continued, you understand how hard it is when you're opposition. You see me, I'd rather sit on the back bench of the government than to sit down on the front bench of the opposition. I'd rather come out of the PMP and the PMP win than stay in it and it loses. I want the PMP in power. The campaign manager argued that while Dr. Phillips, who currently has an unfavorable rating, was a good government minister in the past, he is not the man to take the party out of opposition. We want a leader that can take the party out of opposition. So now to come and look at the PMP and say that the man is at 12%, but we must let him stay is not acceptable. They are being hypocritical because even when former Prime Minister Bruce Golding had to resign from the Jamaica Labour Party, his rating never got down to 12%, Dr. Campbell stressed. All your phone, when it reaches 15%, you see something start going on it and tell you say you have to go and plug in a charger because it needs life. At 15%, your phone don't tell you already and give warning say, look here, this something soon lock off. And them they are 12% and make it sound like something wrong with we, Dr. Campbell continued. The campaign manager, who made it clear that he doesn't have anything against Dr. Phillips, stressed that it is difficult for the current party leader to take the party out of opposition because he is not liked. More than 100 people displaced by downtown Kingston fire. A fire on Tuesday night destroyed several houses on Fleet Street in downtown Kingston and gutted a facility which housed severely physically challenged and homeless persons nearby on Tower Street. The fire resulted in more than 100 people being displaced. 70 who were at the Tower Street facility, operated by Missionaries of the Poor, were evacuated by residents. One of them sustained serious burns. 40 other persons who occupied the mainly board houses on Fleet Street lost most of their belongings. It has not yet been ascertained or the fire started shortly after 9 o'clock. New head of police traffic enforcement branch promises to act prudently. Assistant Commissioner of Police Kevin Blake, the newly appointed commander of the Public Safety and the Traffic Enforcement Branch, has sought to assure the public that careful thought will be given in the future to the introduction of measures to combat traffic breaches. ACP Blake was on Tuesday appointed to head the unit following the reassignment of Assistant Commissioner of Police Gary Welsh, who was the focus of public outrage, following his announcement of new measures to take effect on September 1. ACP Welsh had announced on Monday that motorists who breach the Road Traffic Act will be taken to a customer service center for processing, rather than being ticketed on the spot. Adverse public responses to that announcement were swift, with questions being raised about the legality of the measure. The police high command later said that there would be no changes to its policy regarding the processing of individuals being ticketed for breaches of the Road Traffic Act. I just will indicate that whatever measures will be put in place will have to be in conformity with the law, and also our resources will have to be adequate to support, he said in a brief interview following news of his appointment. The immediate area of focus will be that order is maintained on the roads and that our members operate in a professional manner, he said. Probing into cause of landing gear failure on JDF plane at NMIA, local authorities say they are still investigating what caused the Jamaica Defence Force JDF training aircraft to develop mechanical problems near the Norman Manley International Airport, NMIA, in Kingston last Thursday, resulting in the plane being landed without the use of its landing gear. The gear is said to have failed to work on approaching the airport for landing. No one was injured in the incident, but the development caused activities on the runway of the airport to be suspended for over an hour. The incident was confirmed by Alfred MacDonald, acting president of the Airports Authority of Jamaica AAJ. Based on the reports, the aircraft landed, but after doing so, a problem was observed with the landing gear, MacDonald said in a telephone interview. He said no one was injured as a result of the development, but indicated that it did force the authorities to suspend a number of flights or divert them to the Kingston International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James. Last November, a JDF helicopter on a solo training mission crash-landed in a field in Portmore, St. Catherine, resulting in injury to the pilot and extensive damage to the aircraft. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.